In the quiet corners of northwest Indiana, we often find that the oldest stones have the loudest voices. If you travel to the Chesterton Cemetery and weave through the pioneer plots, you'll find a name that carries the weight of a century-old betrayal: Susie Beck. In 1887, this town was a tight-knit community of wood and faith. But in the sweltering heat of that July, a darkness was brewing, not in the taverns or the back alleys, but behind the pulpit of the Methodist Episcopal Church. This isn't just a story of a murder. It's the story of a wolf who wore a collar, a girl who trusted him, and a disappearance that remains one of the greatest vanishing acts in American criminal history. Susie Beck was 19 years old. To the people of Chesterton, she was the picture of Victorian grace, the daughter of a respected pioneer family. A constant presence in the choir. She was the heart of the community's future. But then, there was the Reverend William Thomas Abbott West. West wasn't just a preacher, he was an icon. He was charismatic, influential, and powerful. He had a wife and children. He was the man the town looked to for moral guidance. But beneath the charismatic sermons, a forbidden connection was forming. We don't know the exact moment it started, a shared prayer, a late-night council at the parsonage. But by the summer of 1887, the secret had grown too heavy to hide. Susie Beck was pregnant by the Reverend. In that era, this was a ruinous scandal. Susie was terrified. She turned to the one man who represented God's mercy. She didn't know she was turning to her executioner. The Reverend has a wife and children. He could not let this get out to the public. He raised kids here. Everyone looked up to him. He had to end this immediately. The Reverend West knew his life of prestige was one word away from collapsing. He couldn't let the truth out. He began treating Susie for her illness, providing her with a special tonic he claimed would help her. July 24, 1887. The air in the Beck household was thick with the humidity of a Hoosier summer. Susie took the medicine. Within minutes, the horror began. Strychnine doesn't kill quickly. It attacks the nervous system. It triggers massive, violent convulsions where the muscles pull so hard the body arches like a bow state known as opisthotonus. Imagine the scene: Susie's family rushing to her side as her jaw locks tight, her breath coming in ragged gasps, her mind perfectly clear while her body betrays her. She died in an agony that is hard to even describe, surrounded by a family who had no idea that her kind reverend had just handed her a death sentence in a bottle. The aftermath was chaos. The local coroner was no fool. Suspicious of the violent nature of her death, he ordered an autopsy. When the word got out that Susie was pregnant and her stomach was full of poison, the town turned their eyes to the parsonage. The sheriff moved in to make the arrest, but Reverend West was one step ahead. By the time they kicked in the door, he was gone. He didn't just run, he vanished into thin air. He left his wife, his children, and his congregation to rot in the scandal he created. The governor of Indiana put a massive bounty on his head. There were sightings in New York, Chicago, even London. Private detectives were hired. Pinkertons were alerted. But Reverend William West was never seen again. He successfully evaporated from the face of the earth, leaving behind a grieving family and a cold grave in Chesterton. Susie's grave in the family plot has no gravestone. Like the rest of the family, for reasons unknown. Confirmed by the cemetery, this is the location. Susie Beck rests in silence. Her killer never faced a judge. He never spent a day in a cell. Some believe he died in exile. Others wonder if he started a new life, perhaps even a new church, under a different name. As we stand here in Chesterton Cemetery, the question remains, does the soul of a killer ever truly escape? Or does he still wander these woods, a shadow in a collar, forever running from the ghost of the girl he betrayed? If you have any leads on local Indiana mysteries, leave them in the comments. And remember, some secrets are buried for a reason.